Good morning, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to our webinar, How to Jumpstart IR 4.0 with Video AI and IoT. So in this webinar, we would like to discuss about what are the IR 4.0 new technologies for manufacturing, and also how do you leverage Video AI and IoT for further reduction in cost. So looking at our agenda, first we're going to have, after this, we're going to have the Video AI and IoT for manufacturing by Tapway. Also then AWS stories and best practices for manufacturing by AWS, and then we wrap it up with question and answer sessions. Also joining with me today, we have our business development manager, which is Leo. Leo, you can say hi.
Hi everyone. Thanks for joining us today, and I hope you can get a few key takeaways from our webinar. So hand over to you, Sarah.
All right, great. So without further ado, let's go jump right into our first discussion. So the one who's going to talk who is Chi Hao Lim. He is the founder and CEO of our company, Tapway. He's a passionate entrepreneur. His key responsibilities at Tapway are strategic planning and execution, partnership, investors relations, and overall management of the organization. Meanwhile, he also leads the company's technical roadmap planning and execution. Prior to founding Tapway, Chi Hao spent more than 4 years with Airbus Group on their helicopter division across Europe and Asia on technology and system integration projects with complex supply chains which span across the globe. So without further ado, let's listen to Chi Hao's session.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Chi Hao, and let me start off by telling you a little bit about Tapway. So Tapway has been established since 2014 and based in Malaysia, and we focus on leveraging AI technologies, particularly in the realm of video analytics, as well as connected sensors to capture data in all physical locations. Yeah, so our tagline is actually making physical locations smarter, and really how we do that is to capture, not just capture data, but to analyze and make use of data to help businesses in the following 3 areas. Number 1, how do you improve consumer experience or internal customer experience? So it can be for manufacturing, staff experience. And secondly, how we enhance security of your site. And number 3, how do we streamline your business operation? I think these days, the word streamline has been also replaced with automation. So how do we automate operations and take away the heavy lifting and manual repeated work from basically your operations? Next slide. So yeah, we have been developing a couple of key solutions. Number 1 being PeopleTrack. As the name suggests, it's a solution that provides a combination of hardware and software to track people movement. It can be from using video sensors to count people, to basically providing a smart band or smart device to track movement of stuff in a physical location. We'll share a bit more about that in a short while. Secondly, we have a solution called FaceTrack. So as the name suggests, that's for facial recognition, mainly to help with access control and also security of your site. Yeah, so the solution can help you to, of course, recognize your staff and visitors at your doorstep, and also to track movements of staff and visitors throughout your site by placing cameras strategically in your factory. Number 3 is Asset Track, and this will be one of the key areas that we will be speaking about. And for manufacturing especially, that's a lot of equipment, that's a lot of inventory that are everywhere in your organization, and you would like to track it efficiently. And that's where the solution is helping. Number 4 is Vehicle Track. This may not be directly applicable, but this is one of our key solutions where we help businesses to track vehicle movement. So whether it's in the public area, like for smart city or for highways, or it can be also used for smart buildings or any facility which has a car park. And number 5 is our solution called Smart Engage. It's actually one of our legacy solutions where we developed for the retail industry when we started. But this now has been basically fused with all our solutions to provide direct, let's say, dashboard and also notifications and alerts to our customers. So having said that, our core competencies lie in 3 areas. Number 1, of course, video AI, which we'll speak extensively about today. And video AI is a solution where you can train a neural network model or an AI model in general, and that can be basically used to deploy to any site with an edge server and a camera. And IoT is another area where we have been working on since the beginning of our time. We started off with Wi-Fi connectivity, and then we move on to basically BLE, which is Bluetooth Low Energy Tracking. And now we are also working with other technologies like UWB, ultra wideband. And finally, with all these IoT devices and video cameras, the data has to go somewhere, and that's where cloud and big data come in. So we are fortunate to have today Vasily from AWS to share more about the AWS platform. But yeah, cloud and big data has always been our key focus because the time to market and the convenience of sending data to the cloud and the convenience of the platform itself makes it easy for both Tapway as well as the customers. Next. Yeah, and we are also fortunate to have, since the beginning, now we have more than 100 over customers. And today we measure behavior of more than 10 million consumers per month across all the sensors deployed in not just Malaysia, but also in the region. Yeah, so we, of course, if you see the list, we have a lot of retail customers. That's our stronghold. We have been doing a lot of our solutions deploying to shopping malls, integrated buildings, as well as retail chains and F&B chains. But yeah, for the past 1-2 years, we have been branching out and diversifying into different areas. For example, we work a lot right now with highway operators like Plus. We also work with a couple of manufacturers this year. Yeah, when the whole COVID crisis started. Next. So yeah, what today I think let's deep dive into the challenges that manufacturing industry is facing. I think number one and most importantly, how do the manufacturers respond to the COVID-19 crisis? How do you ensure employee safety and health? Number two, and I think this is also quite important, you now have basically a lot of equipment, a lot of your systems in silo, and they are talking in different languages. So how are you able to integrate the software from multiple equipment? And of course, once you are able to integrate the hardware together, you are able to really maximize automation by having a really quick feedback loop from the hardware to the cloud and back to a controller, and to make certain decisions faster for the management. And that will also help you to reduce definitely unplanned downtime as well, which is a number one issue for a lot of manufacturers when it comes to production outputs. Next. So having said that, the trends are fairly linked to the challenges that I presented before. Again, employee safety is a top priority right now, and that should be the focus of a lot of manufacturing businesses. And some other trends that we are seeing right now, I think, which I will speak about it in a short while. Video AI quality inspection. Currently, a lot of the quality inspection is done manually, and that's an area where you can really automate with a state-of-the-art technologies like video AI. And then, of course, once you are able to get data from all the different machines and equipment you have, you are able to automate processes. So, and when you have data coming into a central platform, you have greater visibility into all the data, and it's not just about capturing data, as I mentioned before. It's also how you make use of the data, how you are able to then leverage it for certain things like predictive and preventive maintenance to keep your production on track. Next. So having said that, so some of the benefits that our solutions can offer, and a lot of the IR 4.0 solutions can offer, is really to help you get a 360 view of your site performance via, of course, a suite of IoT sensors, gateways, and other controllers to integrate with your equipment. And you are able to then improve operational efficiency. And that is a combination of knowing both staff and asset movements, which I will share in a short while. And of course, there are many areas that you can automate. For example, staff attendance systems, again, like visual inspection for quality inspection of your parts, for example. And enhancing the premise security, it's also top of mind of every single manufacturer right now, especially in this COVID time. Finally, a real-time user engagement. You're able to provide real-time alerts based on data coming in from various machines or from the IoT devices. And that will help you to find out inefficiencies in your operation or in your process and really cut down the wait time. Next. So I think I'll deep dive into each of the different solutions. I'll start off with VisionTrack. Again, VisionTrack is basically our service to develop different AI models to help basically manufacturers with visual inspection. And some of the examples that you can see here, definitely you want to, let's say, look for defects in your manufactured parts. Like in this case, a bottle caps with a crack. You're able to develop models easily using what we call machine vision cameras built in with our AI model. And there are also other different examples that we have done before. For example, we work with a palm oil processing plant, and really to find out about the quality of the process to remove what we call the fruit from the bunches. And we realized that at the end of the process, there are sometimes a lot of bunches that are not fully extracted yet. And all these fruits are money, right? So we are able to use our AI model to detect unstripped bunches and basically to fit that or to channel the unstripped bunches to a different process, and they can then put it back and to extract more out of it again from the beginning of their processing plant. So yeah, these are just some different examples, and what we have really is an automated AI training pipeline powered by AWS, of course, that we can help to really get from the beginning, like when you have images for us to train, to having the model at your production or your manufacturing plant in no time. So we can get it started really quickly in a matter of weeks, if not months. And of course, there are other areas like training models for worker safety inspection and fall detection, and this really to help with the safety of the employees in your site to make sure they comply with your SOP. Next. So I'll talk a little bit about Asset Track. And first, I'll just show a video about a service that IoT AWS offer, which is called IoT Sitewise.
Hi, Sheree.
Hey, Bill. We're ready to launch AWS IoT Sitewise.
I can't wait to see what Sitewise can do.
Customers can collect data from their plant floor or any edge location, structure it, visualize it, and generate real-time KPIs.
We've been doing this for tens of years with some of the largest logistics ever and the largest automation. I think our customers are going to love taking all those years of learning and putting it into our product that they can use and leverage immediately.
Imagine they can use Sitewise to monitor multiple facilities or create apps in minutes so that their plant operators can analyze equipment data and prevent costly issues like gaps in production.
You know, I've got a lot of mechanical systems throughout my house. I could automate all of that and get Sitewise to show me how everything's running and how to maintain it.
Bear in mind, we built this for large-scale industrial use cases like individual plants with tens of thousands of different pieces of equipment and sensors whose data needs to securely reach the cloud so that you can monitor each of them from a central location and...
Cool. I'd love to get started on that. Let's see what we can do.
Bill? Bill, are you there? Bill, what are you up to?
Sorry, I didn't mean to leave you behind, but I got a little excited. I'm connecting my snow cone to the network right now.
That's a great idea. Let me add that gateway for you. Done. I just sent you a link to the dashboard with your temperature readings.
It's really exciting to see what SiteWise can do, not just on the simple environment around my house, but across your whole production line that a customer could have. It allows you to get the sensors connected into the cloud quickly, allow you to visualize it and see what's going on, understand the maintenance level of your machines, do predictive maintenance, apply machine learning. It's very exciting.
Let me show you the web app we built in less time than it took you to do all those things.
Wow, this is exciting. I think customers are going to love SiteWise.
Wait, something is wrong. Your pond temperature sensor is no longer transmitting.
Even SiteWise can't predict a puppy.
So yeah, why asset track for manufacturing? I think this is really important. I think number one is to help you to reduce downtime. And as you know, unplanned downtime can cause a lot of financial damage to your operation. And number two is what I've presented just now about reduction in defects. And another area, I'm not going to go through all of them, but another area is OEE improvement. So a lot of manufacturers, especially small manufacturers these days, they do not have visibility on their OEE, which is what we call overall equipment effectiveness. So with this metric in mind, they'll be able to continuously improve and make their operation or equipment more efficient. And other than that, there are also other benefits like being able to introduce new product quickly, cutting down the cycle time, improve inventory, and to even have reduction in energy use. Next. So yeah, there are many different sort of assets you should monitor. So you should look at basically your entire production process and to find out what sort of machines you have, what are the causes for your downtime. And this is where we will get started. We will normally, visit our customers, manufacturing plant, understanding their process, and to find out what are the common areas where they need data to improve their efficiency. And from there, we can outline a plan to basically digitalize all the equipment. So if they are analog, then we can have a digital encoder. If they already have like a PLC, then we can actually connect to it directly. So yeah, here are just some examples of what asset that you can monitor. Next. And of course, this asset tracking solution has been implemented in many places. IR 4.0 has been an emerging trend, especially in the Western world, and even in Malaysia now as well. So there are many different use cases for that. For example, you can use it to monitor condition of refrigerated cargo. You can use it to do remote monitoring of vending machines. You can basically improve or manage your inventory much better with tracking of your assets. Next. And I'll just talk briefly about people track location. And this go hand in hand, right? So if you want to know about certain issues with your equipment during certain time, you want to know who is there, who is currently manning the machine right now. So people track location provides not just location of your stuff, but also to use it for contact tracing in the COVID setting right now. So we are able to identify basically who is where, and to know that if a person is in contact with another person during a certain time. And it's also easy for you to spot the stuff, especially this is especially useful during emergency time, when you have to evacuate people and you want to find out whether there's still someone left behind. And with the analytics of location of your stuff, you are able to plan your space better. So it's about space density planning, but also to improve workplace layout as well. So where your production process is, do you make your stuff move too much? Can you maybe relocate some machines to have a more efficient pipeline process for your production? So that's just some benefits that the solution offers. Next. And how it works is really simple. So we basically place smart sensors, and these are basically Bluetooth emitting sensors that are able to get the signal emitted from the smart devices. Yeah, so these smart devices are worn by staff. So yeah, you can basically wear either a card, or you can wear a wristband, a smart band, we call that. And we are able to then track movement by having the smart sensors sort of triangulating the position of these smart devices moving around. And all this data is then sent to the clouds, and we are able to provide real-time reports and also historical reports, and all other statistics that will be helpful for both HR and operation to basically plan and improve their operation. Next.
All right.
Yeah, so I think having said that, there are quite a lot of different areas that we are working on to help manufacturers, and these three are just our core focus. But yeah, I think I will now bring your attention to the next speaker, which will tell you more in general about how cloud can help manufacturers. Over to you, Sarah.
All right. Now that was from G House session. All right, Leo, what do you think about G House presentation just now?
Yes, I think it's very interesting, especially the video that Chihao shared. It's like a real life type of environment that we can actually try out, especially with Sitewise IoT from AWS. So it's a great application, and I can't wait to see this being implemented in our Malaysia environment, especially the manufacturing plants that we are looking at. What do you think?
I think so as well, especially the one the video that we just played from AWS. I think it's a very great way for you to really reduce, all the processes that takes a lot of time, and you can just see everything on the dashboard just in one platform. That's it. So yeah. Anyway, before we continue to our next session, don't forget, if you have any question, please just write it on the chat box there, and then we'll answer it after the next session. So now our next speaker will be Vasily Malinin. He's the head of IoT business development in the AWS. He has been with AWS for 3 years, and he is passionate about driving real impact with innovative cloud solutions that include IoT, advanced analytics, and AI. Currently, Vasily is involved in many connected products and smart factories projects across Asia. Prior to joining AWS, Vasily had gained significant IoT and cloud experience as a program manager and a business leader for cloud services. And he has software engineering background and always keen to dive deeper into customer needs and work backwards to the technology solutions that can help. So without further ado, let's see Vasily's Vasily's
All right. So thank you very much, Sarah, and thank you, Topway, for inviting me to this webinar. I think Chihao did a really good job in presenting the solutions that Topway developed for manufacturing customers, for industrial customers, commercial customers as well. In my part of this session, I really wanted to step back and talk about Industry 4.0 through the lens of who can benefit from this and what are the success factors, how you should think about Industry 4.0 to get a maximum effect for your business. And so Industry 4.0 idea is nothing new, right? So it's been here for years and years. Actually, many of the manufacturers here in Southeast Asia or globally had the initiatives that are aligned or that are kind of pillars for Industry 4.0, such as trying the robots, landing the Internet of Things projects, doing some sort of analytics or augmented reality. Okay, so there's a lot of like buzz that is going on around Industry 4.0, but I think it's still some customers, they need to understand what is in it for me. How do I really go beyond the hype and get the real benefits from it? So I visit a lot of plants in Southeast Asia, in Malaysia, in Singapore, Philippines, and so on. So I kind of see the trends and similarities about the in the problems or questions that I'm getting. So I wanted to share a little bit of insights from those conversations. So the first thing that I really wanted to kind of discuss with you is smart factory, which is basically pinnacle of Industry 4.0. Who is it for? Because I often get those questions or expressions of this misunderstanding that Industry 4.0 is for like shiny new factories, that you need to completely redesign your manufacturing process from day one, and this is how you achieve it. In fact, I've seen Industry 4.0 smart factory applied to both new factories as well as legacy old factories, and I think for the latter ones, for the legacy factories, actually the amount of improvement is actually more than what you have for the new factories. So for new factories, typically you just design it with all those ideas of robotics and computer vision and data analytics in mind. But for the old factories is where you can find a way how to leverage those technologies for continuous improvement. And I think this is where I see a lot of success. So you have a factory, you can baseline the performance of that factory and then continuously improve it. And again, that's not something completely new, right? So everyone who is dealing with manufacturing knows about continuous improvement and Kaizen principles that were developed by Japanese manufacturing experts like many years ago. So I think Industry 4.0 Smart Factory just helps to make it more consistent, more predictable by adding the data into the mix and by removing the human bias from the process of improvement. Actually, I wanted to really share one story that struck me a few weeks ago when I ran a book called Atomic Habits. It is about continuous improvement and what like small changes can actually add up to when you have a consistency of applying them and checking the results. So you see this picture of a cyclist here. So the story actually is about a British cycling team. So British riders had some really challenging years for last, I would say, 100 years. So in 100 years, they never won Tour de France. They only got one gold medal since 1908. And then, somewhere at the end of 20th century, 90s, they appointed a new coach. His name was Brailsford. And he basically was hired to set the British cyclist team on a new trajectory. And his idea was that by understanding what really makes the cycling performance by stripping down, like by understanding all the small elements that contribute to performance and improving them, they can really change the results. So they did lots of things. Like they designed the bike seats to make them more comfortable. They rubbed alcohol on the tires for a better grip. They, used biofeedback sensors to monitor the athlete performance and how they respond to the workouts. And these are just some of the most obvious ones, but they also kind of tested different sorts of massage gels to kind of understand which are the ones that deliver fastest muscle recovery. They like selected the pillows and mattresses that led to the best night's sleep. They even painted the inside of their trucks white, which helped them to spot little bits of dust that could potentially degrade the performance of finely tuned bikes. And after 5 years of this, so they actually dominated the road and cycling events, and that basically led to winning of 2008 Olympic Games in Beijing and lots of other titles. So lots of small changes, they end up. So same in Industry 4.0 and transformation of the plans. Like you need to do it continuously. You need to set the baseline on the data and then introduce all those technologies, AI, analytics, predictive technologies, and then you will deliver a massive change in your manufacturing performance. So to move on to the next question that I'm getting is like, why now? Because Industry 4.0 and smart factory is not new. In fact, like if I look at the customers that I have in Malaysia, like many of them have some burned fingers, frankly, in smart factory. They've been doing some sort of connected factory for a few years with some local vendors, with some IT technologies, and many of them are not satisfied with the results. And we really try to understand why, right? And there are always a combination of factors, like what made the project successful or a failure. And I think now what we see consistently is that the level of maturity and level of technologies actually went to the stage where, like, if you do it right, you will get the success. Right? So things that are aligned, the connectivity internet technologies, the sensors became much more affordable, and you have a very wide selection of sensors and actuators. You have like virtually unlimited processing and storage capacity in the cloud. And this is very important, right? So remember, like in this continuous improvement process, you really want to create a feedback loop. So every change, every insight that you're getting and you actuate into your operations process, you want to get a feedback. How did it improve my performance? How did it improve my uptime? How did it improve my quality? And to understand this, like you really want to keep as much data as possible to do the analysis. And traditionally, if you look at manufacturing software stack, which I have here as a sort of like a pyramid image, like we don't do this, right? Because of the limitations that we had with a storage on-prem, limitations of computer capacity, we kind of really we were throwing out a lot of data. So out of 100% of data that we get at the census level, like if you ask like typical manufacturer, like how much data you actually store, so it will come up to something around 10%, which ends up in ERP, and that's it, right? But if you want to do consistent, continuous improvement, then you actually need to store 100% of the data. And with cloud, it's possible. Like the storage in the cloud is just so cheap. So here you see some of the costs of Amazon S3 storage, our data lake for various data, including manufacturing data. Like 1 GB of data per month on typical S3 storage is $0.23. Like, and if you accept kind of lower um, latency to get to the data, and you can use like archiving service such as Amazon S3 Glacier, you get even lower, so 0.004 or even 0.00099, and this all comes with 11 nines of durability. And so you can keep all the data, videos about your manufacturing process and continuously improve it with data analytics and artificial intelligence. The typical issues that we see with manufacturers are kind of standard across multiple types of manufacturing and frankly across all countries. So I listed some of them here. So when it comes to the issues, classic thing is workstation or cell failure, and then the company, the worker has to work for a long time for repair. And like once, like we even did look at the time that is spent for a worker to visit the control room, then go back, and then for like maintenance engineer to do this trip back. So just walk-in time was around 15 minutes, which was really unacceptable, right? So there are programs how to solve this, starting from something very simple as just really automating the capture of the data and sending instant notification to something more advanced as predictive maintenance programs. Same with quality. Like predictive quality program can start with just a recognition of, hey, these are the defects that I have on the line using computer vision or some other techniques. But then from that, you can actually trace it back why those defects are happening. And now, as you have machine that assesses that quality, you actually take the human bias out of it, and you can be much more efficient in understanding the root cause of the quality issues. So it goes all in all. So you can find those pockets of improvement across every single process that you have on a factory, every single asset that you have in the factory, and obviously lots of that connected with the culture, with the people, with the skills. Some interesting example that I can give you. So we were investigating why the output from a night shift was always kind of lower than the output of the day shift, even though like OEE of the equipment was pretty much similar. And it led to an obvious answer. So the night shift people were basically new workers who just were hired and just freshly trained on something, and then the day shift, the managers were scheduling people who have quite long experience of working with this line, right? So the output from this insight was, okay, so we need to understand how to better coach the workers, how to transfer the skills, how to probably mix and match skill, like experienced and new workers to maintain the high level of output. So lots of interesting case studies and issues that we will face. So please reach out to us and to Topwave. We'll be more than happy to discuss your particular challenges and share how other customers have been solving this with the technologies. One customer that I particularly like because it shows the consistency of the journey that they had and this continuous improvement is Woodside. So their gas plant, they started from like solving one particular difficult problem that they had, which was foaming in something called acid gas removal unit. So they wanted to be able to predict that, because like if that foaming happens, they have to shut down the entire process and clean it up. And so they were able to do that through machine learning, and that opened the floodgates, right, in a good way. And after that, they started investing into analytics, started building the models. So now they have 6,000 analytical models for all sorts of processes, and they gain massive improvements in the efficiency of their manufacturing process. So I think this really a great example of consistency of improvement and usage of technologies such as IoT, AI, and cloud to do so. And we have hundreds more interesting industrial customers and stories how they optimize their manufacturing process or actually innovated in some new services and products that they brought to the market. And finally, I just wanted to show you this slide. Like, don't be scared. It's kind of very busy, but it shows like a high-level manufacturing reference architecture and the services that we as AWS provide. So the architecture that we have is super scalable. It's very cost efficient. So you can start really small. So you don't have to build all of that at once. And so you start with one component, you solve your problem, and then you grow more and more as you bring more problems that you want to solve. And I think here I want to bridge back to Topway, who's been fantastic partner for us in Malaysia and in Southeast Asia, who has very deep expertise on various services, including like IoT Core, Greengrass, Sitewise, SageMaker, and others. So they use those scalable architectures that also very secure, so you can trust them to look at your problems and propose how we would solve it together. Thank you, Jihao and Sarah. So let me give the floor back to you.
So that's it for the session from Vasily. So now we are open to question and answer session. So if you would like to ask us questions, please do write it in the chat or in the question and answer box below. Is there anyone wanted to ask something that you want? Yes, also like something that is not clear yet. We can try to answer those questions. Or maybe while we're waiting, Harvey, Leo, let's have a chat. What do you think are the key takeaways that that caught you here in the webinar?
I think the most significant transforming the industry, especially in manufacturing plant, in terms of turning everything that was done manually to actually digitalize it. Because I work in a manufacturing plant before. I know how manual it can get at times, because we do have like a checklist, a paper, and then we need to get it signed by the supervisor, and then the paper just flies around. And then most of the time, some crucial information on the paper stays on the paper or in an email that gets flight around different departments. So with these sensors that are coming in, and how we do is we digitalize the machine as well as we digitalize the workflow. Everything is online, and I would say everything is just our fingertips. We can find historical data, we can find different types of data just by going onto the dashboard, right? And also to observe, I would say, maintenance, especially predictive maintenance that we needed to do. Yeah, so that would be actually game changer for a lot of us, especially working on the plan as well as making decisions. Because making decisions, you need to have very, very good data. And if the data stays on paper, it will always stay on paper. And another workflow that we thought of is like, you need to transfer those data from paper to digital. And when you get someone to do that, there is always a tendency of human error, we call it. Yeah, so we like to avoid all this just by digitalizing the whole thing on the floor with just sensors, just um, from sensor to the computer. So there are no like lag, or there are no types of noises that are coming in. So I think that's the main key takeaway from me, from what I see. Because and understanding the manufacturing environment right now in Malaysia, especially, even though we are talking about 4.0 so much, that most of the clients that we are speaking to are actually just like 2.0 going to 3.0. Yeah, so there's a lot of work to be done, and especially for changing the working environment. That is, we call it change management. We need to manage the change. That is something that human doesn't like, right? But we still have to take a step forward to digitalize things, because that's the way to grow. We can't be doing the same thing the old way and expecting something to increase in our results, because we want exponential results. We don't just want results that are increasing day by day, I would say. Yeah, that will take some time for the whole company to grow as well. What do you think, Sarah?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Especially after all this digitalization that is happening, it will benefit the manufacturing industry quite very a lot. Like, of course, with the predictive maintenance and like quality inspection and all that, it will come to like reducing the cost, and also increasing your production rate, and a lot of things is really benefits you with technology. So yeah, we haven't received any questions yet, so with that we will just like for you to just kind of be here, and like this is a feedback form, give us some feedbacks what we could do better while we're waiting for the questions. If there are no questions, we would like to wrap it up. But of course, you can always ask us directly through sales@gotapway.com or marketing@gotapway.com, and we will also send you a post webinar email to your email. So yeah, you can check that out. So if there is no more questions, I think it's time to wrap it up. A lot of things are going. We still have a lot of things. Probably you want to eat your lunch, so we don't want to take most of your time. So I guess this is it. And yeah, thank you very much for tuning in to our webinar. And yeah, goodbye. See you on the future webinar. Bye.
Thank you everyone for attending. Hope you get some key takeaways and some new thoughts about changing the workflow. And do reach out to us if you need further assistance. Thank
All right.
you and take care.
Thank you.